Hi guys, it's Mrs. Simpson with SMS PLS, and I'm going to take you through another craft today. So today we're going to be doing some small canvases with a tissue paper overlay and then an optional design with a fine-tipped Sharpie. It's a pretty simple project, and I could see where if I got this into a frame, it'd be really cute. So let me explain the project just a little bit. So what you're doing is you're taking a small canvas like this one, and you're laying a little glue over the top, and then you are taking some small scraps of tissue paper, laying them over the top, letting it dry, then using a fine tip Sharpie to draw a design. Now, if you don't want to draw the design, I think it would actually look really cool without anything drawn on it. I chose to go ahead and do like some fish and stuff because this reminded me of the ocean. You can see my edges are a little rough, so I'm actually going to show you how to avoid having that happen when you do your own. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to set my example aside and let's get our supplies. I'm going to need a small canvas. You can do this with big canvases too, but small is a nice place to start. You're going to need some Elmer's school glue, potentially a pair of scissors, some scraps of tissue paper, enough to cover the entire surface of your canvas, and for later, if I want to do that last step by drawing over the top, I would need a fine tip Sharpie. I'm going to set this aside for the time being. So the first thing I've got is my canvas. I'm going to have to get, if it has some plastic on it, I can't just glue stuff down on top of the plastic. I have to get that off. So you can tell if it's shiny and not bumpy and kind of smooth. You've got paper on yours, so I'm going to have to get that off. So it sometimes takes me a minute to get plastic peeled off of things. Let me just try that again. And notice I'm on the back. If I'm going to use scissors like that to try to cut something open, it's better to do it on the back because that way, let's say I gouge the canvas a little bit, it won't mess up my design on the front. I think I finally got it. It's hard to get off. You may need a hand. All right, see that? That plastic has to come off before we do anything else. All right, so I've got my canvas, I've got my glue. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my Elmer's school glue, and I like this one because it's washable. It'll wash right off my hands because I'm gonna use my hands for this. You could also use a brush for this step, but I think it's good just to use my fingers and wash my hands. So what I'm doing is I'm layering a medium-sized bead of glue over the entire surface of the canvas. I don't want to use like a ton, but I need enough that when I go to spread it out, the entire canvas surface will be covered with glue. Now you could take a brush and spread this out. I'm just going to take my fingers, and I've got a damp cloth ready to go because I'm not near a sink, and I'll just wipe my hands off. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and spread that glue. I want to make sure I get all the way to the edges. And I just gently spread that glue with my finger. And if I feel like I don't have enough to make a good coating, I can always add a little bit more, but I think I've got just about the right amount. Getting all the way to the edges. All right, that didn't take too long. All right, I'm gonna clean my hands. If you have a sink, you may wanna take a break and go wash them. But it's school glue, and I'm just gonna use the damp cloth in my office. Okay, next step is I'm going to start layering pieces of tissue paper on top of the glue and gently pressing down. Now, the mistake that I made when I was doing mine was I was letting the edges overlap, thinking I would be able to trim them off easily later, and it was harder than I thought. So I'm actually going to start by doing my edges and trying to keep my corners and my edges straight and lined up, because I kind of wish I'd done that on my project before. And I'm just taking different colors and layering them. I feel like this piece is a little big. This is where my scissors come in handy. And I'm overlapping those pieces of tissue because it's going to look cool. It'll give you a nice effect. See, like on mine, you can see some tissues through the others, and that works pretty great. So I'm just going to keep layering and layering until I've filled the entire canvas. So I'm just going to speed this up and finish this step. Okay, so I've got my entire canvas covered, and you may have noticed if you were watching the video that I had some little white places where my tissue didn't quite cover at the end, and I went back and trimmed small pieces and I covered those up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently tap with my fingers, very gently, just to make sure that all of these are stuck down. Now I need to set this aside to dry, probably for at least an hour before I can put it in a frame, or if I want to, go back and draw a design over the top with my Sharpie. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Don't forget to tag us at SMSouthPLS when you finished your craft, because we'd love to see pictures of your finished product on social media. Bye.